Hey guys, it's 66. I've been getting some questions about how I made my version of the dual blade saber staff. I have the Vive, so I have two versions I'm going to show you, and hopefully that'll give you some guidance on how to make one of my versions or how to come up with your own version using some of the ideas you might find here. So let's get into it. Version 1 setup, it's using just an 1.5 inch PVC by a foot long and some standard metal strapping. It's got a series of washers and nuts and stuff like that all in there to hold the Vive controller on. This is what it looks like when it goes through the Vive controller there. It's pretty basic, pretty rough. It was just some parts that I had laying around and some black duct tape to keep the metal strapping from cutting up your hands and stuff. But that's pretty much it for version 1. I think this cost maybe about just under 10 bucks. So here's the version 2 of the staff. It's got a 3D print Vive controller holder that I'll put a link in the description. It's on Thingiverse. It's for the katana, I believe, but I'm only using the top most portion of that to hold the controller. This cage that you see on here is just for protection should I drop the staff. I think they're on Amazon for like 15 or 20 bucks. It comes in a set of 2. And then it's got a 1 inch to 1 inch PVC coupler with a bolt and a lock nut holding it on, holding the 3D print skeleton on there. And then I have the other. I haven't finished the other side yet, but this is what one side looks like, and then I'll get into the breakdown of the parts and how I assembled them. So here's the parts that I'm going to be using for the version 2 of my saber staff. It's again, it's that 3D print top portion of the katana for the Vive controller, but you would drill a hole through the bottom portion down here. I got electrical tape on it just so it's more snug of a fit. And I think I misspoke when I said these were 1 inch to 1 inch. They're actually 1 1/4 to 1 1/4. That's the size you're going to need for that bottom portion to fit over it, even with the electrical tape on there. But you'll fit it together essentially like that, and you'll put a pin through it here, and you're going to use a 2-inch bolt. I used the number 832 and a lock nut, again 832, and that's just all going to fit right through the holes that you're going to be drilling through this and through this, and it'll fit right in there and hold everything all together. If you're wondering how long I'm going to make this, I'm probably going to make it only about a foot. Any longer and I might hit the ceiling or something or whatever. But the way that the controller stays onto the staff, you might be wondering, is there's a little slot here for the wrist strap, and you'll take that through, and I'm just going to zip tie it right on there, so it's just going to lay right across and then be zip tied. I might figure out a more permanent solution or an easier solution to where it's not semi-permanent as such of like a zip tie or something, but I haven't figured that much out. I haven't thought that far ahead yet. Also, don't forget you're going to need primer and glue to essentially weld the PVC portions together once you figure out a length. I ended up going with a 9-inch middle length, and that gave me roughly about a 12-inch overall as far as the PVC portion is concerned. But you'll be putting the primer on first, and then the glue shortly after, and then fit them together and then let it sit. Wait until it's pretty solid, and then you're good to go. Here's the end result of the version 2 in comparison to the version 1. As you can tell, both versions had an alternating controller setup. That way it gave equal balance to the swing, and it didn't weigh one side down more than the other, or tend to have the physics throw it out of your hand when you try to twirl it. So this is just some hockey tape. It's kind of like a cloth tape. It gives a better grip. through sweat and everything like that. So that's a plus, because the PVC is a little slippery, and even if you did use electrical tape or a duct tape of some kind, it would still have that slippery surface. So use hockey tape or some other type of sports tape